Sullivan. I'm a former IRS agent and teaching instructor. I worked at IRS for a decade. I've been in private practice for 4 decades. You won't see me in a fancy suit or books behind me. I've been doing this for 50 years. I've been on national TV a number of times. I don't need a script, don't need to read a script. Luckily for me, everything is in this head, and I try to give the information that I have to you. I have a whole team of former IRS agents, and you can look at my website at 777irs.com. My team is on there, and I have all my TV interviews there. You can see me on a suit and tie if you want to look. You want to look me on it there. But anyway, I do these YouTubes for 3 reasons: to give you good information, to inform you from insider information from IRS perspective, things you will never find out, and make sure you don't get ripped off. And especially in the offer and compromise space, that's really, really big. People like to tell you they can make settlements, and they can't. I get so many calls of people that have been ripped off. I know not only was I a former IRS agent, I taught the offer and compromise program as a former employee. I was selected to go to Atlanta and actually instruct people on the actual program itself. I used to accept and deny offers, so I know what I'm talking about in that space. Very important that that you need to know that. Today, I want to talk to you about a wage garnishment levy. God knows how many wage garnishment levies I served at IRS. In the thousands. Matter of fact, I have signed so many federal tax liens and wage garnishment levies and bank levies, I changed my signature. It used to be a pain in the ass for me to write out Michael D. Sullivan every time. Some days I would have to sign my name 100, 200 times. I now just sign my name with an S for Sullivan, because I used to really, honestly, no lie, I used to file that many because I had to. It was my job. We had huge inventories when I worked at IRS. So today, let me tell you about the wage garnishment levy. IRS doesn't enjoy levying. They just don't. They have to. Most levies, and I'm not going to talk about the revenue officer wage garnishment levy today. I'm going to talk about the service center wage garnishment levy. That is, IRS decides to go ahead and you don't respond to their letter, so they're going to go ahead and garnish your wages. First of all, how do they know where to garnish? You can find that out and be a little sneaky and find out where IRS gets their information from. If you go to irs.gov and you go into your wage and income portal, you ask for your transcripts and go to wage and income, your portal, you will find out all the wage information and bank information they have on you. That's where IRS gets it from. Anyone who's reported on you, a bank or an employer, all have to file documents. IRS just gets it there. They can file multiple wage garnishment levies and multiple bank levies. They try not to send them out all at the same time, but in fact, IRS goes ahead and they can do that. So what IRS does before they levy, IRS must send you a series of notices. They must send you a CP-14. 6 weeks later, a 501. 6 weeks later, a 503. 6 weeks later, a 504. And then 6 weeks after that, a 1058, in which you can file an appeal and actually buy more time. But by then, you should figure an exit strategy on how to take care of IRS. IRS just does not randomly send this out. IRS systematically sends you all their required notices and your appeal right before they levy. They try to do everything that they can to not send you that levy out. A lot of people don't get their mail. They've never got it. They go to the office one day, they go to get their paycheck, and they say, hey, we just got this wage garnishment notice. We can't pay you. And that's the case, believe it or not, for about 50% of the people. They never got their notice. The other 50% stuck their head in the sand saying, gee, this will never happen to me, but it does. So the employer has the right not to pay that money to IRS the very first paycheck. They can wait to the second paycheck to go ahead and pay that. Most employers don't know that, but they can go ahead and do that anytime, in fact, that they want. That's not a problem. That's a black cat. That's Addie. Don't worry. She's 23 years old. She means no harm. She will bring you good luck. So if, in fact, you have this levy, IRS allows you this form that you can keep some of the money, not much, about 20%. But the whole idea is to get the levy released. How do you get this levy released when you got a wage garnishment levy? Very simple. You fill out a form if the case is in the service center, and that's what I'm letting you know today. You fill out a form 433F and wait for the IRS on the other line to pick up and dial the 1-800 number, say, hey, I need to get this wage garnishment levy. I'm in a hardship. You want to let them know you're in a hardship. Tax number to go ahead and send this release to. By the way, we do this. We can get this wage garnishment levy released generally within 72 hours. You're the only one who slows us up. We secure the financial statement for you, and then we go ahead and do what we need to do and get the levy. But if you're doing this yourself, you've got to provide the documentation for a 433F financial statement that they're going to fill out. IRS is going to look at your assets, and they're going to look at your income to expense ratio. They want to find out whether you're in a hardship or whether you can make payments. So when IRS goes to release this wage garnishment levy, they have to close your case off the enforcement computer. How do they do that? They have to do that by generally one of these two programs. And offer and compromise does fit in here, but not for this wage garnishment levy. So you give IRS that 433F with your bank statements and tell them what your story is, and they generally will release your levy. If you don't have a lot of money and you want to do it yourself, you can. Good luck to you. If you have some money, you really should have someone professionally done. And I say that for one reason. You can get caught in a high payment agreement that you don't want to pay because you don't know what the formulas are going to be and how IRS is going to attack getting more money out of you than you should. But anyway, to get the levy released, you're simply going to give IRS that 433F. That's their financial statement. Pull it up online. Give them the documentation for it. They'll enter you into one of those two programs. If you're doing it yourself, you will not get the best deal. I'm telling you now, because as a former IRS agent, and then you can go from there. You can go ahead and file an offer and compromise down the road, but you've got to know about that. Don't rush into that. You need to call really someone like us who knows what they're doing if you're going to do that. In the meantime, make sure all your tax returns are filed. IRS is going to want you fully compliant. If you have any questions, just go ahead and call me or leave a comment, and I can go into more detail. In fact, if you want. I hope this information was good. If it is, please give me a subscription. YouTube values us getting subscriptions. It's the only way they know we're doing our job. I think I have about 4,600 subscriptions, but I'm happy to help you on any IRS matter. Thank you for listening. I appreciate the subscription.